Hey there guys, this is Reckles with WTBGold, and today I have something special for you. Last video, we talked about how doing what you're already doing day in and day out, you can get an extra 3,000, 6,000, whatever gold per day to pay for repairs and stuff. But some of you are hungry. Some of you want to actually get rich. And so today, I present to you the Want to Buy Gold Herbalism Farming Challenge. Yes. So what is it? This is a routine. I want you to follow. I want you to go get a pen and paper. I want you to take notes. I want you to do this every day. Save the video, like it, favorite it, whatever. Follow along with this. And you know, this is a competition. This is something you can do to brag, to say, yeah, I did this in under an hour. I want you to beat my time. What are we actually doing? We're going out to farm up 100 of all 6 base Battle for Azeroth herbs. Pretty easy, right? If you want something a little bit more complicated, a little bit more tailored to you, a specific strategy of what you should do day in and day out, I'm going to do a shameless plug at the end of the video. But let's get into it. So, if you want to follow along with me, here's what I did. I started off with STALK over at TALANJI'S REBUKE. This is where at the beginning of BFA in the cinematics, Talanji called down fire and a big dragon Razan came, and this is where those ships are now. So there's a lot of STALK all around here. I do 1 lap and then I server hop. That's the basics. There's also a ton of monolite ore nodes and monolite and storm silver seams inside the water, so I highly recommend you do this on a dual gatherer. In fact, I think for this, for tracking times, we should have 2 classes. We should have the normal class of, dual gatherer, someone who actually cares about gold making and has mining and herbalism on the same tune, and then have kind of the novice class of people who just have herbalism. From here, it took me 9 minutes to get 100 STALK. I went over to Vol'dun. And this is where I wasted a lot of time. I am not very good at Akund's bite farming. So I honestly, if you guys can leave me any tips or your favorite routes for Akund's bite farming down in the description or down in the comments, that'd be great, because it took me like 21 minutes to finish up getting 100 Akund's bite. I just use routes and to connect all my GatherMate 2 data and say, make me a route that connects all the nodes in the zone. And it's not super efficient. But from there, I hearthed back to the main city, and I took a boat over to DRUSTVAR to AROM'S stand. Now, AROM'S stand, if you've watched my Winter's Kiss farming video or anyone's Winter Kiss farming video, it all says to go to the same place, and it's here. So you're going to have a ton of competition anytime you go here, but it's still really, really good. You do, if you're Alliance, you do a horseshoe around the bottom, and then you come back. If you're Horde, you do a horseshoe around the top. You'll knock out 100 really quick here. Just, do a horseshoe, server hop, and then go back. But I do have a little pro tip here. While I was traveling on to the next area, I actually picked up a couple extra Winter's Kiss. I probably would have shaved off a little time if I'd left at 90 Winter's Kiss rather than the full 100. And the same is true of STALK. I actually left Talanji'S REBUKE at 80 STALK because I knew there would be some more here. And my pro tip number 2, we're heading on over to Tiergard Sound to do RIVERBUD farming. But here in DRUSTVAR, just north of Fallhaven, there's a river that kind of goes down. If you, from the Winter's Kiss spot, run over to that river and then you follow it down, there's a whole bunch of Siren's Pollen and RIVERBUD all along there. And then as you run over towards Carver's Harbor, there's a whole bunch of STALK along there. So that can kind of artificially boost your numbers, and it's efficient. I think it might just be better to get to the RIVERBUD farming spot as quickly as possible. I don't know. We got to test it. You test it, leave your results. If you beat me by skipping this part, then it's better. And that's why we're doing this. Okay, so RIVERBUD farming spot. I've also done, I'll link a video. Here's a video. Riverbud farming spot, we got to deal with goddamn cranes. Just run around here. It's an easy peasy route. You kind of jut down in the middle and then run back up. Make sure you go up the waterfall, and then there's a second area once you're up by the waterfalls that you need to run up to. A lot of people skip that area, so there's usually a lot of nodes over there. But other than that, I talked about everything else in my Riverbud farming video that you can go check out. From here, once I got 100 Riverbud, I just head straight over to the west because it's right next to my favorite star moss farming spot, and that is ANGLEPOINT Wharf. This, you will knock out 100 star moss super quickly here. It's jam-packed. There's no one ever here, no competition here. You get it so quickly. And as always, here's my star moss farming video. I've got a video for everything. But after I finished there, I was done. I got 100 of all 6 base herbs, and I finished in 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 42 or 45 or 47 seconds, something like that. So one thing that you may notice here is that I didn't actually specifically farm for Siren's pollen, and that's because every tree in Battle for Azeroth has a chance to spawn Siren's pollen. You're going to get it. You're passing trees all the time, and some of them are going to have the herb on it, so you go pick it up. The total amount of gold that I got, I'll put on the screen right here. But before you head out, I have a couple things that I want to say about why I like this. Number one, it's really easily repeatable and it has goals. So a lot of people just go out and farm until they feel like stopping. If you know that you can knock out 100 of each herb in 1 hour and 10 minutes and you're almost done and someone says, hey, come run this raid with me, you can say like, okay, hold on, give me 7 more minutes and I'll be right there. I gotta finish a thing. And that extra 7 minutes adds up. The second thing that I really like about this is that it's scalable. If you don't have an hour 15 minutes, you can just do 50 of each herb, which actually, interestingly, doing 50 of each herb took me 47 minutes, whereas doing 100 of each herb, twice as much, only took me an additional 20 minutes. So the reason why this happened, actually, you tell me the reason why you think it happens down in the comments. Let's foster a little bit of discussion, but it's really interesting, and it's one of the important points of farming that you should be aware of when you take like BS gold per hour numbers and you make them realistic. And conversely, if you have a lot of time, if it's the weekend and you don't have anything else to do, you can farm 200 or 300, or if you're a masochist, you can farm 500 of each herb and you'll make a lot more gold. The last thing I really like about this is the diversification. So a lot of you new farmers out there may be wondering like, hey, Siren's pollen is really expensive or Riverbud is really expensive, so why not just farm Riverbud? Or the answer is server size. So if you're on a big server, you're gonna have a lot of prices are gonna suck no matter what you're farming. But if you go out and you get really good at Riverbud farming and that's all you farm up, then all it takes is 1 or 2 guys who are multi-boxing or botting, and they just bot for 24 hours straight, and suddenly your prices on the only thing you know how to farm get cut in half or worse. And from there, your entire inventory, your entire gold making strategy just got shot by one person because you weren't diversifying. And conversely, if you're on a small server, there just might not be enough raiders to buy 600 Riverbud every single day. And so if you farm up 600 Riverbud and then it doesn't sell, rather than going out and farming more, you're just gonna repost the Riverbud you already have. Whereas if you farm up 100 of everything, no matter what server size you're on, you'll be able to sell 100 of every herb. And so then the next day, you're going to go out and do it again, and you're going to make more gold, and you're going to go out and do it again, and you're going to get into a habit and a routine. And the last thing on this route specifically for tips and tricks, I used the Zandalari Herbalism Glove Enchant. I am a High Mountain Tauren Druid, so I have faster mining speed. I think I used Dark Moon Firewater regardless, it was pointless. I had Wild Charge Glyph, I was using a Water Strider, I was using Monol Hardened Stirrups, I was using a Monol Hardened Hoof Plates, even though I'm in tank spec anyway, so I'm not going to get dazed regardless. I was using a Sky Golem. I was completely dressed to the nines for herbalism farming, so just to optimize every little bit. So I hope you guys come out, test this out, and crush my time. Let's add some competition back into gold making. I think we need it. Okay, so challenge is over. Time for the shameless plug. All right, so over the past couple of years, I've been doing one-on-one coaching. $50, you get like 3 or 4, however many hours it takes, where I log on with you and we figure out what you need to farm and what recipes you need to get, what professions you should focus on, what you should do day in, day out. The problem with that is it's not scalable. The channel's getting bigger, and I think we can do better, so I have an idea. Here's my plan. If you need a kick in the pants with your gold making, for $10, I'll write you a 2-month game plan for what you need to do every day for the entire 2 months to hit whatever goal you're trying to make. If you want to buy a Brutosaur, or if you want to just earn your first $1,000,000 gold, if you can't even imagine $1,000,000 gold and you just want 100K or 200K, don't worry, we can get you there. So send me an email at wanttoBuyGold@live.com, and I want you to include 4 things in that email. First, the name of 2 or 3 tunes that you want to focus on, what their names are, what server they're on, and what professions they have. And then I'll do a little digging and find out what recipes you need and what things you can do to optimize those tunes. Send me your schedule. So how much time do you normally play? How much time do you have specifically to devote to gold making? Are your weekends free and that's when you play a lot? Also, send me what you like and don't like about gold making. And finally, send me your goals. What do you actually want to accomplish? We can do don't limit your goals, but be specific and make sure there's something that actually matters to you. But that's it. For $10, I will take all that information, use the knowledge, the mistakes, the thousands of things that I've overcome in my gold making career. I've been doing this for 10 years now. So I will use all that information to write you a 2-month plan to achieve your goals. And you can support the channel while you're at it. So if you have $10 laying around and you need a little boost, send me an email here. I hope you go out there and you crush my time. Send this to any YouTubers that you think are good at gold making. See if they can beat my time. Let's make this a race. Let's make this herbalism farming challenge something fun that we can brag about. If you do this in 50 minutes, you deserve a high five. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Good luck and happy gold making.